The elephant. Now more than ever, Africa's iconic species is under threat. Here on the streets of Hong Kong, ivory is still widely available. All the ivory that's sold here is meant to be from stockpiles that existed before the 1989 global treaty ban. It's estimated that an elephant gets killed illegally for its ivory once every 15 minutes. Despite that, the market and demand for ivory in Asia is skyrocketing. Join me on Adventures to the Edge as I head to Africa to learn more about these magnificent creatures and what's being done to protect them. Wildlife is under threat like never before. Man-made climate change, habitat loss and illegal poaching are devastating the world's environments. We've lost half the animal species on the planet in the last 40 years, and all large marine life could become extinct by 2050. I'm Shawnee Davis, a photographer, filmmaker and conservationist with a passion for adventure. I photographed some of Asia's most glamorous celebrities, and now I'm turning my camera on nature's true beauty. I'm out to showcase the glory of the natural world and raise critical awareness about poaching and exploitation. Join me on Adventures to the Edge. The African elephant. Their size alone is awe-inspiring. Fully grown, they're nearly 4 meters tall and weigh over 6 tons. But according to those who have made it their career to study them, elephants also have a number of very human-like qualities.
They've got a sense of humor. They've got a sense of mourning, family bonds, unbelievable memories.
E is for elephant in every English-speaking alphabet, and there's a really good reason for that.
While some of us are gaining a greater understanding of these animals, others are killing them for their ivory. And that illegal ivory is ending up in shops and homes across Asia. I'm on a journey to produce a fine art photography exhibition to create awareness about the illegal ivory trade in Asia. To photograph elephants in the wild, I head to Zimbabwe. We pass over the magnificent Victoria Falls on the way to Mana Pools National Park. This sprawling ecosystem has remained unchanged for thousands of years. I arrive at Goliath Safaris, a tented camp right on the edge of the Zambezi River. There's a crocodile here for every 10 feet of water. Camps like Goliath are what you might call eco-luxury. There are just a handful of tents here. There's also a bar, full-time staff, and a campfire for evening gatherings. And no, there's no Wi-Fi. But it's about being as close as possible to the wildlife, which sometimes saunters right through the camp. The reason I'm here is to meet the legendary Stretch Ferreira, a 25-year veteran safari guide. Because of his experience and respect for the wild, Stretch is an expert tracker with a unique ability to get up close to some of Africa's wildest animals and on foot. We're out in the late afternoon. Stretch has spotted 3 huge bull elephants crossing the river. We set off in pursuit.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and position us where I anticipate he's going to come out the river. Okay, so we're going to sit quietly, remember? No talking, right? Sit quietly and hopefully he'll come out right next to us.
Stretch is familiar with many of the elephants in Mana Pools, and he spotted one of his favorites.
It's like a circus elephant. He can get on his back feet and reach up. Vertical, beautiful. Oh, it's getting better, isn't it?
All of a sudden, 2 hippos begin fighting just in front of us. Mesmerized by all the hippo action, we almost missed the 3 bull elephants now crossing the river.
Hey guys, this is incredible.
Walking up the embankment, we come face to face with the 3 fully grown male tuskers.
We're now waiting for the bull to stand up on his 2 hind legs. We're pretty damn close to these elephants. They can charge us at any moment.
And it's worth remembering, these elephants are totally wild, not used to human contact.
We are so unbelievably close to these elephants. I'm using my wide-angle lens here. These are totally wild beasts. This is just insane. But it's also incredibly thrilling.
This is what I was looking for. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get up close with the big tuskers in their natural environment. Maybe this time, though, Stretch is taking us too close.
Steady. Steady, my boy. Steady. Steady. Steady, my boy.
Fortunately for us, the big bull backs down.
This one came right up to you.
Yeah, I was just wanted to bully me because we're sitting down, so we don't look so big and so strong. So he was just trying to bully me a bit. So I had to stand up a bit and get up a bit.
Were you a little bit scared?
Of course I was.
Because you weren't expecting him, right? You were looking at these ones.
Yeah. Anyway, all's well that we survive it.
But he backed right back down when you said something.
Yeah, I just turned and calmed down.
I don't think you'll ever get that close to wild elephants, big bull elephants in the wild, and not get squashed. I mean, Stretch Ferrari, people have talked about him far and wide. He is something else.
The next morning, I leave Mana Pools and travel south to Hwangi National Park in order to photograph larger herds of elephants up close. Only recently, 87 elephants were murdered by cyanide at a watering hole just like this one in Hwangi National Park. They were killed for their ivory. Widespread poaching such as this has led to the formation of NGOs such as the International Anti-Poaching Federation, or IAPF.
The IAPF was set up in 2009. I used to be a clearance diver in the Australian Navy and was a special operations sniper. I was in Iraq, and then in 2009, just travelling through southern Africa as a tourist, and saw the devastation that was happening with the killing of wildlife, in particular elephant and rhinoceros, and decided that I had a certain skill set that could help the situation. Seeing an animal go down to drink and having its lungs and chest ripped apart by a heavy caliber bullet, for me that's really disturbing. Animals don't have a job, they don't have a paycheck, they don't go to school, they don't drive a car. The only thing an animal wants to do is to live, and we take that away from them.
In Zimbabwe, it's legal to shoot and kill poachers. The IAPF teaches military-grade techniques and has a ranger certification program to enhance the defense against poaching. By the same token, poachers have also become more sophisticated.
There's so much money in the commercial poaching market. It's been classed as the second biggest criminal industry in the world now. So there's a lot of money being thrown around there. Definitely the poachers these days have the upper hand.
To find out more about this unique program, I joined one of the IAPF's ranger teams, who put me through my paces. Then, to test out their skills, I pose as a poacher.
Spread your hands. Put your fingers. Hands up. Spread your hands. Spread your legs. Ow.
Every time, run away.
Why are you trying to do that? Look down.
Well done, guys. Okay, thankfully, I'm not a poacher. My weapon is my camera, and Steve here is going to set me free. I was a bit shaken up there. Pretty aggressive stuff from you guys.
Yeah, that's part of the technique as well. We really tell the guys they need to have a bit of controlled aggression. So not too much, not get too emotional about it, but also be aggressive, be authoritative. Get the guys on the back foot, get that surprise, get them down on the ground, cuffs on, search them out of there.
And when I tried to get away there, they weren't going to let me go.
Yeah, they took it easy on you there, they really did. You were lucky to get away with just getting pinned on the ground.
Since my visit to Zimbabwe, elephant poaching in Africa has grown considerably worse. Join me in part 2 as I travel to Kenya to photograph the biggest elephants in Africa. I also meet with leading conservationists.
Elephants are unbelievably intelligent creatures.
And for good measure, I get stuck right in the path of a herd of elephants.
Coming right at us.
I'm on a journey to discover the elephant. I'm also out to raise awareness through my Project Sea Change photo exhibition that will raise urgent funds for conservation NGOs fighting a worsening poaching crisis, a crisis that could wipe out the African elephant in a few decades. In Zimbabwe, I came face to face with 3 big bull elephants and learned how one organization, the IAPF, is using military-grade training and tactics to fight poaching on the ground. And now I'm traveling to Kenya. Kenya is a diverse mix of bustling towns, colorful landscapes, and incredible wildlife. It's also changing rapidly and is one of Africa's fastest-growing economies. I'm heading south from Nairobi towards Mount Kilimanjaro and Amboseli National Park, one of Kenya's most famous reserves, known for its large herds of elephants. My base of operations at Amboseli is Tortolas Camp, an eco-luxury lodge on the footsteps of Mount Kilimanjaro. And with its proximity to the wildlife and spectacular views, it's the ideal jumping-off point to explore the region. I meet Joseph, head guide of Tortolas Camp, with 20 years of guiding experience in the area. We head out to find some elephants.
Amboseli is the place that you can find big herds of elephants in one particular area. They can congregate up to 200 of them together. There is a small herd of the elephants here. They are coming from the swamp because most of them, they like to go to the swamp.
Amboseli's ecosystem is unique. It's an environment that supports a population of approximately 1,300 elephants, one of the highest concentrations of elephants in the world. It's elephant paradise down here. You have the glacial waters of Mount Kilimanjaro flowing down to these flatlands to create these swamps. And these swamps support all manner of life, including gazelles, antelope, buffalo, zebra, as well as many species of birds such as egrets. And obviously the kings of this ecosystem are the elephants.
In Amboseli, we're really lucky because we have a central source that's really important for elephants, and that's the permanent swamps that are fed by Kilimanjaro.
Dr. Vicky Fishlock is the resident scientist at the Amboseli Trust for Elephants. The trust has been tracking and studying the elephants for over 40 years, the longest and most comprehensive study of elephants ever undertaken.
So elephants are eating machines. They eat for 18 to 20 hours a day, and that's not really surprising when you consider they're building those huge bodies out of grass. But they have a lot of stuff that's going on while they're eating. So a lot of those elephant behaviors that you see when they're foraging next to each other, those touches or a tail touch to somebody or a body rub, that's about reinforcing individual relationships. Individuals have individually distinct voices as well. So we think that a female can recognize about 100 other females from her voice alone, which is better than I could do without caller ID on my phone.
One of the Trust's biggest findings is that elephants are very smart and that social bonds are incredibly important. Like humans, elephants need a family.
It's the same social system as humans have. So the idea is that your group membership, your family, stays constant, and it only really changes through births and deaths. When you poach an elephant, it's not just about killing that elephant, or indeed her dependent calf that may die afterwards. The long-term effects reverberate for decades through families. The Amboseli elephants are very lucky, but they are the exception in Africa. We're losing huge numbers of elephants to poaching for the ivory trade.
I head back out with Joseph to visit a local anti-poaching ranger station.
Yeah, in Kenya we have a population of 45,000 elephants, as we are talking now. And we are losing 10 elephants per month. Those are the reported cases due to poaching. So if we lose like 10 elephants per month, it will take us like 10 to 15 years, up to 20 years, for the whole population to be wiped out.
It's estimated that approximately 35,000 elephants are killed every year on the African continent, mostly to feed the growing ivory trade in Asia. Luckily for the Amboseli elephants, their future isn't so grim because of NGOs such as Big Life Foundation, which coordinates anti-poaching activities around the park. I stop at one of their ranger stations to discuss the illegal poaching issue. This is the skull of a large bull elephant, and you can see the massive protrusions here which would hold the ivory. Now, some poachers, when they come in and they kill the elephant, they have a power saw and they literally cut off this whole part of the skull. The motive behind all of this carnage, of course, is money. An African poacher can get $1,000 for 10 kilos of ivory, but the big profit is made in Asia. By the time the ivory is carved and sold in Asia, the value increases to around $60,000. In fact, the price of ivory is increasing so rapidly that some are even buying ivory as an investment commodity. We head on to Big Life headquarters to meet its co-founder, Richard Bonham. Big Life has had great success not only reducing elephant poaching in the area, but also enlisting the support of local communities in protecting wildlife. Richard's work has earned him global recognition, including the 2014 Prince William Award for Conservation. I want to get Richard's take on the poaching situation right now in Africa.
In your opinion, what's the solution to ending ivory poaching?
Well, I think the drugs trade is a good way to illustrate it. You know, guns and boots on the ground are not going to win. We've got to get to the market. We've got to get the market values down, which will then no longer make it viable for these big cartels to get involved.
But that's the problem, isn't it? Because how do you make something unfashionable? And
very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, I think you've got to appeal, you know, from a cultural point of view, survival of a species, an iconic species on top of that.
Do you think it's an Asian problem, or do you think it's an African problem?
Asian problem. They're the people who are providing the market.
So the consumers, the person who buys that ivory, is
if it wasn't for the demand from the consumer, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Trying to end that demand in Asia is why I'm here. I'm keen to head back to Amboseli to capture the big elephants up close. I'm hoping that with these photographs, I can raise awareness back home and extra funds for charities fighting the illegal poaching trade. We spot two big males. Unlike in Zimbabwe, I'm not allowed to get out of the vehicle here, making it very difficult to get close-up shots from the ground. Instead, I have to use a special remote camera system to try and get more intimate shots of the elephants. Unfortunately though, my remote camera system generates a lot of curiosity.
The elephants are taking an interest in my remote, and it looks like they're picking it up right now as I'm taking photos with it, and they're throwing it around. One of them just stood on it. I think the camera's broken.
Trampled on and dusted off by a 6-ton male elephant, there's not much hope for the camera, but amazingly, it survives. I didn't quite get the shot I was after, but I did get some unusual angles. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get the photographs I need. For now, it's time to just sit back and appreciate the beauty of Amboseli's majestic residence. Today is my last day in Amboseli, and I don't have the photographs I need. The pressure is on. We head for the base of Kilimanjaro to see if we can catch the big herds walking down through the forest. And we wait. Finally, they emerge from the forest, heading down towards the swamps.
This is what we came to Amboseli for, the March of the Elephants. Here they walk down from Mount Kilimanjaro to the swamplands, and this guy's a big bull tusker right in front of me. He must be about 40 years old. Magnificent beast, look at him, just so majestic. There's some baby elephants in the background. What an incredible sight, it just couldn't get better than this. For anyone who has any doubt about how magnificent and wonderful these animals are, they should come here and see them in the wild. Because if they were to see these animals in the wild and to see how magnificent, how soulful and intelligent they were, they would almost view them equal to human beings, if not superior to us. In my opinion, not only is buying ivory unethical, it's also tasteless and crass when you consider just how wonderful these elephants are.
I think the general public in Hong Kong, if they can understand exactly the impact that that market which they're providing is having on the elephant today, if they can understand that and broadcast it, then I think that's the biggest thing they could do.
Viewers in Hong Kong have the same power to keep elephants on the political agenda. They're worth fighting for till the absolute bitter end.
My time in Amboseli is running out. I have one more afternoon to get the shot that I need.
We just planted a remote, and there's a herd of elephants coming, and the car won't start. These guys could just ram us over right now, so we just have to be really quiet. Coming right at us.
We're in the way of 25 elephants. If they wanted to, they could bulldoze right through our truck.
The adrenaline is still pumping. The car cut out and we couldn't move. That could have been really dangerous, so actually we didn't shoot as much as we wanted to. You know, these are mothers with kids, so they would do some damage if they really wanted to.
A close encounter, but as we retrieve the remote camera, I'm pleasantly surprised with the results. We continue tracking the elephants well into the evening.
The sun is setting, it's about 6:30 p.m. and we're watching this group of elephants who we've been tracking from back in the swamps, returning to their resting grounds closer to Mount Kilimanjaro. They feed and they drink all day long until about 5 o'clock when they turn to head back home. And that's when you see this fantastic mini migration, if you like, of these wonderful creatures.
As long as there is a demand for ivory, innocent elephants will be paying for it with their lives, so we have to stop the illegal ivory trade. Ivory has no intrinsic value. The real value is a living elephant out in the wild with its family. Next time on Adventures to the Edge, I meet someone whose remarkable organization